Yeah, now I can control how they go. Cool. What the fuck? Where did Blaze put that? I don't know. I think that's actually pretty good. Checky. All right. overlap. All right, so let's spawn this at a socket. Hold up. There, I cleaned your eyes so you can see what kind of asshole you're being. Oops, what the fuck? No, I need a montage. Ew, fuck. Let's Can I do some more? Hold up. No mannequin. Part of Holly art. Alright, now give me a second. poly art one. Yeah. We'll call this Mon. All right. I'm here. Look at me. Calm your booty. Okay. I get you in 2 seconds. Okay. Calm your booty. Let's cast unarmed. I told you I will do it in a second. Unarmed cast. To the right hand. Unarmed cast. To the meat. Dash. This needs to go to I swear I put a thing on that. All right. Give me 2 seconds, guys. I have to take my dog outside. So, please enjoy the music. There goes again. Okay, I'll be right back. Sorry.
be back. Oops. There it goes. Well, yes, got my sockets in there. Oh, nice. Welcome to the show. What there? On both of them. I don't know why that didn't show up before, but all right. Oops. It overrode my animation montage. Fuck. Hate when it does that. Yeah. Okay, so with our fireball, montage. Then our montage is going to be Moncast. Then we do handle. Like montage, like bind to montage. There we go. So now I'm bound to my notifies here. Not quite sure what that was doing, but hey. Okay, I'm still working. Alright, so I say on montage notified begin. So first off, I'm just gonna print. And then we'll end the ability there. And then I need to add some notifies. So add notify montage notify. Okay. So we'll put this one here, and this notify's name is going to be cast. And so we should have like a fire. What I would like to do is I'd like to have his hand on fire as he's like pushing it forward. This one will work. Why are you up, Bubba? Come here. Come here. Come here. You need something to drink? Okay. You want some root beer? This one's probably a little too heavy. Okay. Oh, this is the original. What's up, baby? That's not quite what I'm looking for. What's the matter, babe? Well, mommy is in bed, and you should be in bed too. I think that's pretty perfect, actually. Rowan, do not wake mommy up. Matter? Okay, so dude, you and me are finna fight in here pretty soon. You better quit the cursing. You better go back in bed. You can go in bed. Alright. We're not playing the montage. We're activated. Think I need you to go to bed, please. I swore I had a thing for this. Get owning character. And then get mesh. This is probably why I wasn't playing. It did play, but it didn't play on the character. Question is why? Why did it not play? What, Rowan? Ooh.
See, I told you. Don't like that. I told you don't like that.
You told me what? Come here.
Game looks like that with the fat library. It's so fat.
I'm eating too.
cat would kill my heart out.
Come here.
Out my heart and I'll die.
In the shadows where thoughts like vipers twist, they hiss and slither in my mind, insist a relentless siege, no light, no peace against their tide. I fight, never cease. Don't get a minute, they'll take your soul. In this world within, you play the lead role. Stand firm, stand tall against the night and all of darkness. Be your own light.
People now.
I'm here.
They can't people now.
Come on, let's. You want me to take you in the bedroom? Give me 2 seconds here, guys.
But I'll not be the one they take to the grave. Don't get a minute, they'll take your soul. In this war within, you play the lead role. Stand firm, stand tall against the night and the heart of darkness. Be your own light in the silence. I hear a different call, a glimmer of hope, refusing to fall. With each breath I claim back my ground. In the depths a resilient soul is found. This battlefield, littered with what was me, transforms as I forge my destiny. No longer brave, but a warrior reborn. In the eye of the storm, I find my dawn. Transforms as I forge my destiny. No longer brave, but a warrior reborn. In the eye of the storm, I find my
All right, I'm back. I love having children. You think you're safe to do some streaming of some game dev at midnight, and your child just like fucking interrupts your live stream like the popo. It's the cops, motherfucker. Going on.
grounds where my fear emerges. Just lucky hisses, my success fades. On the stage where fraud parades. The rebels cry, drowned by the storm. Sparks of fire try to transform. With every step, my fears impose. On this path, my panic shows. A spark ignites the darkest night. A whisper and roar, feel the fall of the fight. Loud the lies that echo fierce, I am more. Through the fears I pierce.
Good there.
This ghost within, wearing my doubts, hisses the grin. This war's mine. With beats that tear, I'll break the chains, refresh it. Just leave me.
My skeleton looks good.
Just leave me alone.
Knock it out, hand. We're all looking good here. All right. Now let's see if this is the issue.
He fights not fair. His thoughts within, wearing my doubts, his sinister glare. But this was mine, with beast and tear. I break the chains, breathe fresh air. He fights not fair. His grip so tight, but I'm long now with newfound might. Each
Is
beat
that
my
you?
heart, clearer the steel. See my fear.
Where's my next computer? There we go.
This fox mask I adorn, swift as the wind, they fall one by one. My blade array advance, but don't just shoot.
This is the original. The new version got way more listens. I love this version though.
Your time is done. Through shadow and moonlight, my dance has begun. The whispers of leaves.
I would have swore I put a Get Mesh in there.
Guide my steps under the pale moonlight. Enemies close, but I am closer still. In the dance of death, I move to kill. Under the moon, where shadows play, I find my path. I make my way with every step. The night whispers my name. In this endless dance, I claim my fame.
It's because of the patch.
By the shrine, spirits linger. My resolve is strong as timber. Each strike precise.
I hate when the freaking patch crashes the engine.
I'm the reaper. Tales they tell of a ghost in the dark.
It's the one thing I hate about working in C++ and Unreal is that if you hot reload the changes, it has a chance of crashing if the patch isn't like fully loaded or whatever. It's annoying. Oh, actually, that one is not working properly. Okay, so that tells me I should probably say, if running character is valid, Otherwise, we'll just turn a null pointer. That's probably a good idea. Like, if it's a legitimate crash, I like legitimate crashes because if it's a legitimate crash, then I know that there's actually something wrong that would legitimately crash the game in the wild. Then I can fix that problem, and it won't happen. This is one of my favorite ones that I've written. Like, conquering myself, falling forever, the Mass Shinobi, Hunter's Creed, Nega, The Hunted, Wildfires, Venom, Through the Dark, Paranoid, Failure, Give Them Fire, Frustration, Stronger, Arise, Paid for the Pain, A Shinobi's Origins, which is the new version of the Shinobi Origins theme, The Escape, The Fire, Snake Oil, and Beast Mode are probably my favorites of all the songs I've written. Alright, let's see. So this shouldn't crash, but we're also getting a null pointer here. So if I end this, I'll get, yeah. That's fine. It's perfect. I'm trying to think how to word this.
Searching for a way to find release. Cannot break free from this prison of my mind, or will I forever be confined? Paranoid, losing grip on my sanity. Every whisper, every glance was made. Paranoid, can't escape this endless fight. Fight or flight, but I think I'm losing sight. Paranoid. Screaming in the silence trapped in my head. Feel the weight of
Okay, so if I play it as a listen server,
breaking down the
I open up my Fireball,
piece by piece.
and I activate this on the server. Yes. Okay. So I know what's happening here. This is actually a pretty simple fix. We're going to do a U function here. Net multicast. It needs to be reliable. Now we're going to multicast play montage. Then we're going to need the U Skeletal mesh component. And we're going to need the U anim montage. Now I can do I believe we do if mesh is valid, then we do mesh play do I need to get the owner and then play yeah, that's it's play animation, and then I just passed the animation montage into it. Well, apparently not. Alright, so we do this. So I'm gonna have another one here. We're gonna call this Void Play Montage. It's gonna take the use skeletal mesh component, and then oops. we'll say, well, yeah. Here we are. So now, I can play our montage on our mesh. And that will cast it.
Walking through the dark alone, carrying a wave like a stone, but still I rise despite it all, standing tall. I am the hunted.
I think it's having a problem with the skeletal mesh. Let's try running it again, and it should tell me, hopefully.
Think you've got me figured out? You think you've got me beat? A little do
One thing I'd really love to do
fire deep inside of me. You underestimate
is I'd love to have
my drive.
the editor symbol
Every insult, every doubt only fuels my burning rage. I'm gonna show you all what I'm truly made of. I'll rise from the ashes.
and I'll show you the beautiful thing about these the beautiful thing about having those watch this really quick.
Text rendering is one of the most fundamental systems in basically every graphical application. It's something most of us take for granted when using libraries, but if you have ever tried doing it yourself from scratch, you probably know that there's a lot more to it than just placing characters on the screen, whatever that means. So, in this video, we are going to go through all the concepts needed to draw text to the screen, all the way from the simplest methods to supporting multiple languages and scripts. This video is sponsored by Brilliant. More about them at the end. To start, it's always good to break down our problems into simpler ones before we start solving them. And in this case, before we can draw text, let's try to draw a single character. In general, there are 4 distinct ways of doing so. The end goal of any graphical application is to draw to something called a frame buffer, that is, a canvas made up of pixels. Every pixel is just a single color, generally stored as RGB or RGBA data. Well, since all we want to do is set the color of certain pixels, the easiest way of drawing some character is to define your character in the form of these pixels. Such a representation is called a bitmap and is dead simple to draw. All you have to do is map the texture in place on the screen, something that your GPU can do millions of times a second. That seems great and all until you try to zoom into the text or try to make the text itself bigger or smaller. The issue is that the bitmap itself has a width and a height, and deviating from that size means that you have to somehow either minimize or maximize the image when drawing. There's a super easy way of visualizing how this is done. We have a source bitmap and a region that we want to draw the bitmap to, which in this case is bigger than the bitmap. So you can imagine stretching the gap between the pixels to fill the entire destination. Now, zooming into a specific region, we have to figure out the exact color of these pixels in between. And there's 2 ways of doing so. The first is just to take the color of the nearest pixel from the bitmap, which results in a super blocky text. Not great. The other way is to somehow mix the colors of the 4 bitmap pixels in between which the current pixel lies. Generally, this is done through something called bilinear interpolation. Unfortunately, this doesn't work that great either, giving us this bad blurry image. Ideally, we want sharp text at any scale, but that doesn't seem possible with bitmaps. What all this means is that this technique is only really used in places where you basically never have to vary font size very much, or preferably at all. Obviously, though, it's not as though those constraints are possible in every application, which is why vector fonts were invented. In this case, instead of representing a glyph as a set of pixels, they're represented using mathematical curves and lines. If you want to learn exactly how a vector font is rendered directly using the common TTF files that you find, you should go and watch Sebastian Lake's video on the topic, because he goes through the whole system in a way I probably never could. But I'll just go through the cliff notes here. For a GPU, drawing lines is a very fundamental operation, so that part is taken care of. To draw the Bezier curves, you just have to decompose them into lines based on some resolution parameter. Or you can go the route of writing a shader for this, but I digress. This is also pretty easy.
Alright, perfect. Besides. Okay, so now if I debug our editor,
to do overall. The tricky part is filling the character in, because to do that, you have to run something called an inside-outside test on every pixel in the glyph's bounding box. Essentially, at every pixel, you cast a ray in an arbitrary direction, then just count the number of intersections the ray made with the lines and curves of the glyph. If you get an even number of intersections, you know that the ray entered and exited the glyph while going to infinity. If you get an odd number of intersections, that means you never entered the glyph for the first iteration, which means that the ray started in the glyph itself. So, if you color all the pixels that yielded an odd number of intersections, you get an appropriately colored glyph. Well, that seems great, right? Since our glyph is defined completely mathematically, scaling it up just means scaling the space that it's in, which is absolutely no problem at all. Unfortunately, if it wasn't obvious by this point, this method is slow as hell. For every pixel in a glyph's bounding box, you have to do ray intersection tests with every curve and line composing that glyph. Doing that when drawing every character is just too slow to be practical, especially considering that drawing text to the screen is normally not the primary purpose of a program. Here's the thing though, when there is a specific part of a program that is slow to compute, and you know that you may have to repeat those computations multiple times, one of the simplest optimizations that you can make is to introduce a cache. In simple terms, you store the input and output of the slow part in some fast lookup data structure. So instead of repeating the slow computations from the input to get the output, you can just look up what you computed already. What that amounts to in this case is something called a font atlas. This is simply a big texture where you draw your vector glyphs to. Then you can use a simple texture map to draw the specific region of the font atlas, which is super fast as I described before. Basically, what we have done is converted a vector font to a bitmap font because it's faster to draw. This process of converting vector graphics to bitmaps is called rasterization. This method shines when you want to draw the same glyph a bunch of times because you only have to rasterize the vector form of the glyph once and reuse that output however many times you need. Although there's an issue with this method too. Resizing the font will look good, but with every small font size change, you will have to re-rasterize all the glyphs with a new size, and the rasterization is
Let me
still
just
not cheap.
run it.
This is a particular issue in games and in-world text, where the player can move around however they want, and the text has to fit correctly in their perspective. In these cases, it's not great to use bitmap fonts, which are fast to draw but impossible to scale, nor is it great to use vector fonts, which are perfectly scalable but just too slow to draw and resize. What we need is something kind of in between, which leads us to this paper released by Valve in 2007, titled Improved Alpha Tested Magnification for Vector
Okay, so
Textures
when it
and
crashes,
Special
it should
Effects."
give me.
This paper outlines a method of glyph rendering called SGF-based fonts. Essentially, SGF fonts are like bitmaps, where a glyph is represented by a set of pixels. But instead of the pixels storing a color value, they store a value proportional to the distance to the nearest edge of the glyph. Pixels near the glyph's edge are around 0.5. Inside the glyph, we get values from 0.5 to 1, whereas outside the glyph, we get values from 0.5 to 0. By itself, this doesn't seem special, but the main difference is how you draw this glyph. Instead of directly mapping the texture onto the screen, we introduce a threshold value, where if the texture value is greater than that threshold, we color the pixel in. Otherwise, we discard it. By introducing
You know
this
what?
simple
It's
change,
backwards.
we can get rid of the blurriness that we saw when working with bilinear filtering on bitmaps, and it gives us a pretty good outcome. Looking closely though, there's very noticeable aliasing. To get rid of that, we can use the smooth step function and give it a small smoothness parameter to mix between the text color and a color with 0 alpha, and that gives us some pretty good looking anti-alias text. There's another big advantage with distance field based fonts, which is text effects. You can easily isolate particular distances in this SDF texture and color them differently, giving outlines, glows, shadows, and so on, without having to re-rasterize the glyphs, which is just great. When drawing the glyphs at a different size from the distance field texture, because we are relying on bilinear filtering, there's really no need.
That should resolve that problem. I'm not 100% certain why we're going to. Okay, perfect. So do there we go. What I can do here is I can say if this equals wind up, then we're going to spawn the wind up fireball at the socket hand and we're going to attach it. Then we're going to copy these two. And we're going to pull in a sequence. So we're going to say what's that? Let me cast. All right. And then we can end the ability after that. Now, first things first, I need to store oops. I think I just need an A actor. Maybe just an actor? Yeah, okay. Oops, I did get, and that's it. Sit. Then before I spawn this, I want to destroy that. I do like that. So we can see that it was there and it gets destroyed. I'm going to change the wind up to actually be right about there. Not. I have the wrong socket in. Socket R hand, I think, is right. Let me double check here. It's not right. Wait a minute. I think it actually is. Socket R hand. Socket R hand. Yes. Okay, so dive into code and figure out why it's not working. So, interesting. Uh, Rival Snow 46. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for watching. I'm basically making a one-on-one mage combat RPG. So I'm using the term RPG kind of loosely here because it has RPG elements, but it's kind of like MOBA-ish, where you start over at the beginning of a match. Eventually, I'd love to turn this into a full thing, but we started this for a jam, so it was a little too ambitious to do like a full. Socket. Oh, the target actor, I think, is my problem here. Maybe. Yeah. It's my target actor because I'm an idiot. That's pretty good. Although my wind up should be fine, but I don't want. Yeah. So we're pretty close. I think the cast notify is at the wrong spot, which is why it's. Actually, we should be good here. And then I'd like to have a third notify here. That basically says. Give me 2 seconds, guys. I'll answer your questions. I'm just kind of like. Um. Let me change up my code here because I'd really love to have like a thing here that's like um all right, so let's see. What kind of RPG game are you making? It's a game jam game. It's about like an academy um where like everyone is spellcasters. So the RPG elements are going to be more around your academy life. Um, but the you'll have like duels against opponents where you're basically in an arena and you're just kind of like it's third person and it's just like so you'll have different classes that are based on the phases of the moon So every phase of the moon will grant you a different set of abilities, right? Um, and so you'll have a kit that's based on your class, and then you'll be in an arena. The arena will be dynamically changing, so it'll have, like, pieces of the floor will stick up so that you can hide behind it, just to try and break up the monotony of, like, I don't want it to be like like the Cell Saga arena where it's just square and there's nothing to break line of sight or dodge behind, that sort of thing. So I kind of want it to be like third person, and you have spells, and you have a certain number of spells, and you just basically cast them at your opponent until your opponent dies, or in the passes out, shall we say, in this world. Um, um, and then it'll start another round where, and then it's best of 5. Um, I really need to. Um, am I making an MK style with keystrokes for moves or just timed cast? It's probably going to be more timed cast. Then I have a pool. Say, Yeah, I mean it's gonna be third person with an aimer. Um, so doing like Mortal Kombat style combos, I think is not really gonna be in the question because I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think it's going to be feasible in the style of game that I'm doing. But it is an interesting thought, though. I may end up experimenting with something. All right, so I should be able to get rid of these and say is notify. So if my notify is wind up. So it's F name. Good to know. All right. I don't know why I didn't realize it was F name, but it is apparently. All right, that should hopefully give us what we're looking for, and then I'm gonna have to reload this node, I think. I do kind of like that idea where you like where everything is what is the output of this? Hello? But anyway, I do kind of like the idea of having it like where you hold a button and it kind of like maybe has like a circle and the closer you get it to that we want to create one. Got it. But I do like the idea of like maybe if you like hold the button and it has like a casting circle, and if the closer you hit it to the Let's see where we are now. You know what? I think. Oops, that's the logic. This is the thing. Let me think here. The one thing I like about the closing circle is that it kind of gives it more skill where you're like if you hit it in the right spot, it does more damage. All right, so let's see. I think I have to enable physics on this. Simulate physics. No, I think I have a second sphere in here. And then this would be the collider, I think. Be cool if it was a diamond for what do you mean diamond? Any blocking physics. There we go. Now I don't have that issue. Oh, I don't think it's okay. Working on the Lisp server? No. All right, let me do a push for my partner working on this project. Like, is pretty out of date. A diamond icon that was enclosing due to the cast. That would be pretty cool. No, you're totally fine. I'm sorry. I'm I'm kind of like focused in a little bit, so I don't want to. I will let you out in half a second. I've let you out 4 times already. You're making me crazy. Okay. Yeah, so this is pointing in the correct direction. Okay, that's fine. Um, yeah, it's still gonna go that way. But that's okay because I think we can update the fireball's logic here. Let's see what this does. Oops. What am I doing? I can multiply by 0.5, I think. That's an integer. Hmm. Although I may be able to float 0.5. Yeah, there we go. All right, while this is writing, I'm trying to figure out where I want to be in the game creation world. I've been playing with scripts in GTA, building worlds in Godot, but I am better at working on something that has an idea already, so I might join a team working on something simple. I don't know where to go yet. I have some things I'll show you. Give me 1 second. I need to run my dog outside, but then I'll show you some stuff. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. My dog was being an idiot. All right, let me look for these real fast. Um, okay. Are you still there? Let me remember your name. Sorry, it's Rival Snow. Do you mind if I just call you Snow if you're still there? Cool. So I have a series of these. Let me go ahead and open them up. All right. So, this little series is called Where the Fuck Did Everything Go? That's what it's called. Let me turn off glaze for a second. No. I'm not accusing it of being dumb at all. I'm just asking. Rival Snow is just a little hard to say all the time. So I was just asking if you were cool with me telling you something a little something different. That's all. Let's see. Game programmer. Game writer. All right. So let me start by saying that there is no idea guy. Everyone has ideas, right? Everyone wants to be the idea guy. That includes people with actual skills that can help with development. So, um, you know, and then the term game designer tends to be a catch-all in this industry, which is freaking dumb. Okay, there are so many roles. All right, so let's go through some of these. So in the 3D game artist world, you have subclasses, right? You have a 3D generalist, a texture artist, environmental artist, character artist, technical artist. The technical artist basically they do all kinds of math and shader work. Shaders basically control how your GPU renders something. So if you're like looking at like, if something blurs out or bloom or whatever, those are shaders that are created by technical artists. A technical artist generally can fit one of these as well as the technical artist role. So you would have like 3D generalist and a technical artist, right? Or something like that. So then you got A character rigger, level artist, level designer, creative director, and an animator. So these are kind of the roles underneath of the 3D game art banner. Um, here's some books that you can pick up if you're super interested in any of this stuff. Here's some websites for these: Polycount for 3D and 2D artists, Sketchfab, CG Talk. There's some great websites for that. So these are the skills that you would need: art skills, form, proportion, perspective, color theory, etc. If you're a technical artist, you need some programming skills. That's why I was talking about, like shaders and stuff like that. In-engine experience with whatever engine that you're going to be working on. Here's some great tutorials. The GDC Vault is freaking amazing. Whoops, this is not what I wanted to do. I closed that on accident. Awesome tools. You got Awesome Bump, Blender, Google SketchUp. And then here's some exercises if you want to get started in this area. Now let's talk about writers. You have senior, you have a journalist, you have a narrative designer, copywriter, quest designer, content designer, story development lead, and an editor. So generally, a journalist is what you would generally call these days as like a community manager or a marketing person. They generally kind of work with the public, about the perception of the game, get people excited about it, that sort of thing. And so that's what a journalist is. And then generally from there you have content designer. They design items. They do items. They do like items, the text for items. They do quite a few things. I just can't think of it off the top of my head. Quest designer generally just works directly on quests. Generally, if you're a writer, you're going to be doing a few of these, right? You're going to be, a senior writer that is doing quest and content, right? Usually those kind of go together. And then, IGDA, Story Gamers, Lemasoft, really cool places you can look at. Here's some of this stuff, and I'll give you this if you're interested in one of these. Let me know. I could find a way to get this to you. Then you have game programmer, which is generally the role that I fill. I generally do game writer, game programmer, and game designer, kind of all in one. So then you have graphics programmer, network programmer, AI programmer, gameplay programmer, UI programmer, and engine programmer. These are really low level. Like you're going to be designing engine features, such as my ability system plugin. This would fit under both engine programming and gameplay programming. Audio programmer, scripter, tools programmer. So generally a scripter is someone who just like if you have like an ability system or something like that, they'll write the scripts for those abilities and do that sort of thing. They kind of do really high level scripting stuff. Tools is for like, if you wanted to design your own editor plugin that would help the team, because like maybe Unreal doesn't have a specific editor plugin that will fit what your team needs, you would be responsible for building that. That's a tools programmer. Generally, again, most people fill multiple of these roles. I do graphics, network, AI, gameplay, engine, and UI. Although I can really fill any one of these roles. I've done all of them and more. Um, and so of course you have different things in here. Right now I'm using Unreal Engine, so I'm working in C++. Game designer. So this is where we start getting into interesting things. So you have level designer, combat designer, quest designer, systems designer, economy designer. So this basically, they decide how things are going to work, and then they put those into documents that then get handed to the systems programmers to start implementing these systems. So like if you say, so for this game, we had, you have a kit of abilities that you have. How those abilities are going to work, how those abilities are going to interact with the world, how they're going to interact with the players, stuff like that. All of that is under combat design. So I can actually show you. Well, because I have some proprietary stuff I don't want to show. Let me pull these out into. Yeah. Copy this over so you can see it. So a game designer would generally do something like this. So you have the Lunar MOBA. This is the game I'm working on. New Mood is the Void Mage. See how I have the play style, what resource they use, their abilities, right? So this generally, and so it would be a lot more. It would be a lot more. Was oops. This was moving things over to. Yeah, so this is when I moved things over to this versus top down. So this would be part of what you would do as a combat designer is this. And then as a gameplay designer, whoops, I screwed it up. You would do stuff like this. So you have the game title, your core pillars, match structure, the map layout, combat systems defines like the minion mechanics. Like this one is for a different game mode, but you get the point. So this would be like an idea of what that would look like as a game designer. Yeah, so you got these different things that you can go to, the skills that that you would help you. Here's some tutorials. Extra credits amazing. Again, the GDC Vault is amazing. Oh, the Game Maker's Toolkit is also amazing. It's just super great stuff here. Yeah. So really, really good stuff in here. One of the things that I use pretty frequently is I have Scrivener. It costs a little bit of money, but it's worth it if you have the cash to spare. Like $60. Have it installed on here, or do I? Sometimes this thing doesn't pick it up. I also have Campfire, which does something similar. I've moved mostly some of my stuff to, Campfire. Have anything? Yeah, cool. So this is Campfire. You can edit characters, relationships, your timeline, the character arcs, like all that stuff. It's this is why I moved over to this. And so this one I don't think you can really buy anymore, but it's really good. Obsidian's really good for that too, yeah. And then finally you have the 2D game artists. You have 2D generalist, concept artist, pixel artist, creative director, all that stuff. So yeah, so if you feel like you fit more into the game design stuff, then I would look at GDC Vault for that sort of stuff. It's all kinds of stuff like this. Making your own engine, adapting to comic books, like I mean, there's literally just about anything you can think of. There's something in here for it. You were saying economy and systems and combat would probably be your route. There's some really great talks in here about combat. This Dreamscaper one.
A quick intro. My name is Ian Capino. I am one of the co-founders of Afterburner Studios. And on Dreamscaper, I was responsible for
design, really good.
Satisfying like nature.
He talks about what their pillars are, and then
elemental system, assigning elements to items, and that elemental system linked into the status effect system. So how do you add depth with less to move you towards all your goals at once? So we ended up focusing instead on other ways that we could achieve our strong feedback pillar, which we'll discuss in the feel section.
So that one's really good. Ghost of Tsushima, talking about melee combat.
And
discipline
really in all things. Discipline in the game to be purely fun. They'll still play it the way they think is most effective. NPCs at the time. And the fire, they yell, "Dosh!"
So that one's really good. yeah, the God of War one. I mean, really, any of this stuff is going to be good. You know what I mean? You just go into videos and then type in what you want to do. So if you're looking for economy, there is balancing the economy for Alvin Online, style through economy, the macroeconomics of game economy. Like there's so much good stuff in GDC. I would just look through that and kind of move towards what you're looking for. I hope that helps in any sort of way. Let me go ahead and we'll just do it here instead. It's still just going. Where it wants to. Not Um, I do have a Discord. Things are kind of dead. I've been busy for a bit of time here, but if you're interested in joining the Discord, what? I hit the copy button. What it's what? Wow, Discord, really? There we go. Mm. There you are. Cool. All right, there we go. that should. I did see your bearded dragon. Very nice. I've been wanting to get a blue tongue for a bit. Alright, so he's sliding, but that's okay. I know what I want to do with that. I have only one thing for the combat right now, and it's full body. So what I'd like to do is put it here. That way I can look around and it, you know, kind of fires in my looking direction, and my character's lower body can do that. I want to blend my bone. Layered blend. There we go. So I want I want Fine 03. That is wrong. What are you doing? You need to be sleeping, bud. Come here. Come here. What you doing, babe?
Finding a way to get, finding a get, trying to get a way to get my way back, finding a way to get back to my normal voice.
Oh, yeah. I think I may have this backwards. This no, that's fine. That's fine. Cool. That works. Now I just need to figure out why those are not turning properly. I need you in bed, son. You know what is today? Today's Sunday. Stay up all you want. You can sleep in tomorrow. And I don't have to worry about you. You don't have school tomorrow. I just gotta figure out why am my actor is not rotating. Okay, so obviously what do you mean? I'm not seeing. You're talking about this one, or are you talking about like this? Need to figure out why my things are all going straight instead of where they should be. Well, I mean, I guess a good idea would be to print. Those fireballs definitely need to move faster. That looks way better. This one? Or, like, if I'm doing this? I just let her out 4 times. What do you want, Manola? Last time I let you out, you just went out and hunted little woodland creatures. Are you gonna go out and go potty? Look at me. Maybe no. Going to go outside and go potty? Or are you gonna go to bed? You have to go outside and go potty. Now, are you going out to go potty? Potty? Yes or no? You need to go in there to get to your food. You're being ridiculous. Oh, okay, cool. That's fine. So how's my push looking? Slow. That's how my push looking. Hey, nice meeting you too. And I'll be doing more of this stuff. So, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. I might actually probably gonna end it here myself. It is 3 a.m. So, thank you everybody so much for watching. I will be back on with more of this later, and